Former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha appears in court on 17-count charge. As a major phase in the 2023 general elections gains momentum, correspondent X-rays money politics in the country, plus monkeypox on the prowl, virus detected in 9 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you for joining us. This is Panorama and Ruth Aguele. Welcome. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has produced the former Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha in court. Rochas Okorocha is standing trial on an alleged 2.9 billion naira fraud before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has preferred 17 counts charge against the former governor of Imo State. EFCC arrested Rochas Okorocha last week, Tuesday, at his residence in Abuja after his alleged failure to appear in court. Since this Monday is the first appearance of Okorocha in court, he's expected to take his plea to the counts. Okorocha had come before the court last week Friday through an ex parte application seeking for his release from the EFCC detention facility. In the ruling, the court refused the bail application. Two other issues. 4 persons have been injured following an explosion that rocked a drinking spot at Oke Padi in Gaba, Kogi State on Sunday night. Jonathan Omajali reports that the explosion is suspected to have been caused by an improvised explosion device. This is coming 3 weeks after a similar incident which claimed 2 lives. To bring you a full package report in a subsequent bulletin. The prelate of the Methodist Church, Nigeria, His Eminence Samuel Kanu Uche, was on Sunday kidnapped along Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway in his local government area, that is in Abia State. He was kidnapped alongside the Methodist Bishop of Owerri, Right Reverend Dennis Mark, and the prelate's chaplain by yet to be identified gunmen. The clergymen were kidnapped on Sunday afternoon on their way back from a program in the area council. The Abia State Police Public Relations Officer, Jeffrey Ogbonna, described it as unfortunate and noted that efforts are on to rescue the prelate as well as the other priests with him. He equally solicits meaningful information from the public towards their rescue. The Cross River State APC governorship primary election might have been won and lost, but there are several lessons politicians must learn for the future purposes. Achibong Basi takes it from here.
But in a bid to put the party first and produce a strong front against the opposition party, Governor Yade met with all aspirants to produce a consensus candidate. But 2 disagreed, though later reports from the party indicated that they conceded to the arrangements. On election day, with all stakeholders ready to affirm the consensus candidate, but to their greatest surprise, the 2 aspirants refused to withdraw. The question is, what followed after a humiliating defeat? Some observers and delegates assess the election.
From my observation, the election is largely peaceful.
APC, as a ruling party, both in the state and at the federal level, is actually ready to conduct the election to make it credible.
We have a very peaceful atmosphere for this election.
We want to tell God that God don't bring to us a good person like Prince Basil too, as the governor of this state, and follow all that we have done as a process which every other party should emulate in due course.
Again, mark yet another remarkable day in the life of APC in Cross River State.
in Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
The major phase in the 2023 general elections gradually fading out. That's the conduct of party primaries. However, former INEC chairman Professor Atahiru Jega seems not comfortable with the increasing nature of money politics in the country. In this report, Mia Ogidi reflects on some exciting moments of the campaigns by aspirants and the Atahiru Jega's opinion.
One has to be polite in politics to persuade the electorate. It is a festival that comes every 4 years. The preachers move from palace to parlor, from mosque to church, seeking for anointing and also converting delegates and electorate to their fold, sometimes with sugar-coated tongues.
This is what we're going to do within 3 months. We're going to create 285 million jobs within 3 months. If we don't achieve that, I will tender my resignation as the president of Nigeria and assure Nigerians that.
That is the beauty of democracy. But what is not democratic is the infiltration of money politics. It is a game for the rich. Between 100 million and 20 million for nomination and expression of interest forms separate the men from the boys. The expensive nature of politics, compounded by the new Electoral Act that increases the spending capacity of candidates, for instance, from 1 billion to 5 billion for president, is another kettle of fish.
Imagine the National Assembly altered the Electoral Act to increase the threshold of how much a candidate can spend for election finance. That is something that we should all have opposed. Regrettably, we were too busy opposing the issue of electronic transmission and so on that we lost focus. We didn't pay sufficient attention to what they were trying to do because they now smuggle the issue of huge financial outlays required of candidates. And then in addition to that, many political parties, especially the so-called big ones, now put huge amounts as nomination fees. This is one area where attention has to be focused in the next cycle of electoral reform to the electoral legal framework.
Section 84(12) of the new Electoral Act has trimmed down the number of delegates. In some cases, just 10 delegates elected state assembly members. But technically, this does not come with any reduction in the cost of securing the blessings of the delegates by the aspirant. The smaller the number of delegates, the higher the bidding. Even among the men, there was no peace in some states. Parallel party primaries, common sides. The implication is more pre-election troubles for the political parties and INEC. This is a huge reversal for the democratization journey of Nigeria. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
Still on politics, Malik Ado Ibrahim of the Young Progressives Congress is the latest politician to formally indicate interest to contest for the office of the President of Nigeria in the 2023 general elections. The presidential hopeful listed security, employment and unity of the country as areas he intends to give priority if given the mandate. Let's hear from Iyanre John.
Malik Ado Ibrahim is the latest to declare his intention to run for the office of the president on the platform of the Young Progressives Party, with the hope of making the difference if elected.
I don't intend to come into this race to walk away. I intend to face this and build something that is generational. This is our country. Unless you have somewhere else to go, we have to face the music here. And there's a lot for us to be happy about, but we need a leader that's going to be able to identify those things and give the enabling environment for a better Nigeria.
He appreciates the party for giving him the opportunity to join the presidential race and promised not to disappoint Nigerians in his quest to meet their yearnings and aspirations. In Abuja, Iyanre John, NTA News.
We'll take a short break. We're back. Stay tuned.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
As the nation witnessed 7th year of the present administration, Abdul Malik Hassan takes a look at the strides in the education sector.
All eyes are on the education sector, and the reason is not far-fetched, as it is considered as the foundation of human development. As such, the Nigerian government has spared no efforts to ensure that the sector performs optimally. Let's start with the basic education sector. Information shows that the intervention body as at April 2022 disbursed roughly 525 billion naira as intervention fund to the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory through its various programs. About 27 million pupils have also been enrolled into school.
And I think going forward and with the determination of the president, particularly after the GPE meeting in London, is that we are very certain that a brighter future awaits the basic education sector.
Currently, the Universal Basic Education Commission is also at the verge of conducting another round of national personnel audit for basic education institutions for the purpose of obtaining comprehensive and reliable data on children of school age, qualifications and bioinformation of teaching and non-teaching staff to better improve the subsector, just as it partners with Council of Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, to monitor matching ground intervention school projects in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT for quality assurance.
We need to see how the little money available for the development of infrastructure should be effectively utilized to ensure that at least we have added value to the infrastructure that we have within the classrooms.
The National Senior Secondary Education Commission was also established to better improve the capacity of senior secondary schools.
We have an educational policy quite okay for secondary education, but specifically to match up with current trend, we are reviewing the education policies to see that it's in line with best practices all over the world.
Beyond all expectations, and of course, with the emergence of COVID-19, the knowledge imparting sectors, especially from 2021, came up with new innovations. E-learning platforms were introduced to enable students, teachers and researchers access quality and comprehensive education. In April 2022 was a birth of a new dawn for the Nigerian teacher. President Muhammadu Buhari signed into law the new national teaching policy, a great milestone towards achieving the best of the education sector. More government, states and private tertiary institutions are also approved to increase carrying capacity.
We at NUC, we talk about quality education. We're talking about education that is functional, that is fit for purpose, to ensure that the average student enters a campus and is able to imbibe the prescribed minimum levels of competencies and knowledge.
But despite all these efforts by the federal government, experts say more still need to be done in the sector and call on parents, private sector and well-to-do Nigerians to join force with the government for a better funding of the sector. So, with a set budget of 1.29 trillion naira for the 2022, if judiciously utilized, it is expected that the knowledge impacting sector will to some extent meet certain challenges bedeviling it. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
And that's Panorama. Thank you for your time and continue to lend your voice in the fight against rape and raping.